Welcome everyone to Law&Crime Daily. I'm your host, Brian Buckmeyer. A memorable jury selection continues in Wisconsin as defendant and self-proclaimed sovereign citizen Darrell Brooks is ordered to leave the courtroom, even before potential jurors are let inside. Brooks faces 77 charges, including 6 counts of homicide by vehicle relating to the deadly Waukesha parade massacre. Prosecutors say Brooks rammed his SUV into the annual holiday parade last November, killing 6 and wounding dozens more. Jury selection in Brooks's trial began on Monday, just days after presiding Judge Jennifer Dorow ruled Brooks could represent himself. Throughout court proceedings, Brooks has maintained he is a sovereign citizen who does not recognize the name Darrell Brooks. On day 2 of jury selection, Brooks was removed from the courtroom even before potential jurors were brought inside after interrupting the judge multiple times.
He raises these issues really just by simple statements. He has never filed an appropriate motion. Motions are governed by state law. Written motions require that the specific relief be requested, that the motion be based on law and fact. I've never gotten anything even close to that from Mr. Brooks. Even if I were to accept an oral motion, which can be proper at times, he has failed to follow the simplest of procedural requirements. He continues to be in the other courtroom. You can see on the monitor, he's standing, he's facing the other direction, he's yelling what, I can't hear him, but it appears that he is yelling. I muted him because of his interruptions of the court, and I understand he objects. His objection is again once is noted.
Joining us today is legal analyst Krista Ramey and co-host Terry Austin. Krista, at first glance, the most unusual part of this case is the number of charges, but now is the defendant acting as his own attorney, going pro se, so to speak. Is there any possible way this could go in his favor?
Yeah, short answer, no. I mean, quite honestly, in my experience, jurors appreciate courtroom decorum and deportment. They expect attorneys to be prepared and litigants to be so as well. And so when you have a litigant, a pro se litigant, like that can't even keep it together, there is no way that works in his favor. I think that what it does is it puts people off. And we've seen this before on televised trials where defendants go rogue and defend themselves. I don't think that this could possibly go well for him.
Yeah, and this is not the factual case where you want to appear like you're going rogue when you're charged with driving through a Christmas parade. Now, Terry, if the judge doesn't revoke Brooks's right to represent himself and he continues to make a scene in court, what can we expect of the rest of this weeks-long trial?
If Judge Darrell does not revoke the right to represent himself, we are in for a very challenging trial. No question, he's already an unpredictable person in general. But now he is asserting his rights as a sovereign citizen, which means he abides by some rules and essentially he ignores other rules. And not to mention, he doesn't know the law, he doesn't understand the process, and the judge has already informed him that he is not going to receive assistance of counsel. So he is literally left out on his own. And the judge is in a very difficult position. It's a no-win for her. If she didn't allow him to do this, this could have been problematic. And now she could get a mistrial or it could be reversed on appeal. So she's going to have to figure out a way to put this case forward.
Yeah, I do not envy the judge in this case. Well, continuing on in celebrity legal news, we're hearing from the women behind Johnny Depp's victory, months after a Virginia jury largely sided with the famed actor in a defamation suit covered across the world. Law&Crime Network sat down with Camille Vasquez and Jessica Myers, who explained how their client's role was vital to his win.
He was under a tremendous amount of pressure, especially the first week. He was nervous, as we all were. But I think after opening statements, after we started the case in chief, right, after we put on the first witnesses, I think that he started trusting in the process a bit more and becoming more confident in what we were doing together, all together. And yes, I noticed that as well. His mood definitely lightened, and I think he really enjoyed collaborating with us. And he was a key collaborator. I mean, yes. Every break, every lunch, when we would come back from court, every day, we would see him. We would go through the day, we would talk about the next day, we would get his perspectives, we would, And he does have an amazing ability to recall details from years past. And so, his insight into this trial was fundamental. I mean, we couldn't have done it without him.
And in California, the sentencing for Theranos founder and CEO Elizabeth Holmes is delayed again, so a judge can consider if there was misconduct among federal prosecutors involving a star witness during her trial. In January, Holmes was found guilty of 4 out of 11 counts of defrauding investors, which stemmed from her touting Theranos as having breakthrough technology in blood testing. But investigators say it was all a lie. One of the government's key witnesses was a former Theranos lab director, Dr. Adam Rosendorf. Last month, Rosendorf reportedly showed up at Holmes' house and spoke with her partner, expressing regret over his testimony, claiming the government had made things sound worse than they were at the trial. Holmes' attorneys requested a new trial over the new information. If Holmes is not granted a new trial, she faces up to 20 years in prison. Still ahead on Law and Crime Daily, a Florida man is sentenced after Trevor Summers was convicted of the kidnapping and attempted murder of his ex-wife. But first, we head to Connecticut as jurors hear emotional testimony in the Alex Jones defamation trial.